Welcome, everybody, to Faith 180, the podcast where mental health meets Jesus, but I'm not sure how much of either of that is happening tonight. I am one of your hosts, Tom Hazelton, and joining me, as always, through the craziness that is the internet, Jordan Hamilton.
Hello, Tom.
Hello, Jordan.
I'm on the moon, and because of the internet, we are communicating, and, well, much like in the 1960s, the communication is not broken, it's in real time, and you're directly talking to me like the president spoke to those astronauts. Isn't this cool?
This is wild that you're in outer space and you're still able to call in. Isn't that awesome?
I'm on the moon.
The moon, he says.
Well, I'm being a disciple.
Are you making footprints while you're over there?
Nope. Once I met Jesus, there was only one set of footprints.
Oh, like that poem, because he carried you.
Like the photo in every bathroom in Canada.
My parents' bathroom had that poem the whole time growing up.
Yeah. So things are good. Things are good on the moon. I mean, it's a Ramblesode, so why not be weird?
And joining us as always, if he's done with his ASMR that he was treating us with before we started, I saw him take a big old swill of the water there. The one, the only, Alexandra Abriel.
Alexandra is feminine.
Alexandra.
Actually, funny story. When I graduated with my associate's degree, the dean of students was so focused on pronouncing my last name right,
Abriel,
that she accidentally called me Alexandra on stage. And I, alphabetically, I always come first. So, very first name, she messed up my first name. She apologized so much, and I'm like, no, that was actually great. That was hilarious.
Alexandra Abriel.
Something like that.
It reminds me of an episode of King of the Hill. I don't know if you guys want me to go into that or not, but
do it. Ramblesode.
Sweet. So there's an episode of King of the Hill where
the one where he sells propane.
Well, and the accessories, but Hank, for whatever reason, has to go to mandatory anger management courses.
Oh, Hank.
And at the end of the episode, he's getting his certificate that he completed his mandatory anger management, but the guy pronounces his name Hank Hall. So Hank's going up to get his certificate, and you see in real time, he's like, because he's so angry that he got the name wrong, and he's like, oh, Hank Hall, and he's starting to laugh it off, whatever. And then the teacher's like, congratulations, Hank, you passed your last test. Here's your certificate. So he sits down, and for whatever reason, famous trombone player Chuck Mangione is also in the same anger management course. As soon as Hank sits down, he goes, all right, and next is Chick Mangione. And he walks up and goes, I'm not a chick, I'm a dude. And he knocks the guy out with his trombone. I don't know why I thought of that.
Yeah. Well, I guess this is the part where we warn everybody that a Ramblesode is exactly that. No promises on anything here tonight, as we've promised before in the past that there were no promises. No, we're jumping on, three brothers in Christ, and we're just chatting tonight. See what comes up. Nothing too deep. So if you're listening to this episode and you're looking for something with a little more spiritual depth, I don't think it was a King of the Hill. Is that what you're talking about? Yeah, I don't think
the reboot's coming, which I'm excited about.
Reba. Now there's a show we can talk about. Reba. Oh baby, you boys watch Reba?
A long time ago.
I have
I'm a survivor.
I feel like Reba has one character she plays in every show, which is the nice but sassy Southern single mom kind of. It's one character, and
you know what?
But no, she is good. I've seen her do other roles too. She's pretty dang good.
She was in the Little Rascals movie too, and it was basically
I forgot about. I remember Donald Trump was in the Little Rascals movie.
Yes, he was.
Yep.
You're the best son money can buy. That's what I think of sometimes when I'm like, dang, that guy became the president.
So I have a question, gentlemen. Who is your favorite TV dad from the 90s, early 2000s, and why? Let's talk about this. Do either of you have one off the top of your head? Because I'm still thinking.
So before I answer that question, it's funny that you should ask that, because I just shared a meme in a Discord group that I'm in, and it has a picture of Carl Winslow, Tim Allen from Home Improvement, Dan Connor from Roseanne, and the guy from Everybody Loves Raymond. I haven't watched it, so I don't know the character's name. And it has their ages. Like Carl is 35, Tim Allen's 38, Dan Connor is 35. And it says, when you're officially older than the parents you watched on TV. And that hit me so hard.
Yeah.
Because I remember being a kid thinking, oh, they're like 80 years old. But, I mean, I'm turning 40 in a month, and I'm older than the TV dads. And really struck me bad was when somebody took a picture of Dee Dee and Stu from Rugrats, and they're like, they're supposed to be 33 years old.
Yeah, that one hits hard because, like, they look like they're strung out in their mid-50s, already gone through the midlife crisis and never recovered.
Right. But to answer your question of best TV dad, I have to hands down, and I have my reasons for it, I have to hands down go with Alan Matthews from Boy Meets World. Strictly because he's your stereotypical dad figure. He very much, teaches his kids, he can be hard when he needs to, he can be whatever. But there's actually an episode where Corey, after he breaks up with Topanga, gets drunk, and he shows up at a party, and he convinces Sean to also get drunk, in which Corey and Sean get arrested, and then they're taken to the Matthews house. And based on Sean's track record of always being, the bad influence on Corey, Alan immediately starts yelling at Sean, like, you're a bad influence on my kid, whatever, whatever. And then Corey steps up and is like, actually, I'm the one who convinced Sean and whatever. And Alan puts all of his pride aside and he apologizes to Sean. And Sean's like, it's okay, it's fine. And Alan's like, no, it's not okay. I was worried about my kid. Which, it's a very real interpretation of what it's like to be a parent and like be worried about your child and maybe sometimes jump to conclusions. And I just feel Alan Matthews is a perfect TV dad because you see all angles of being a parent, being a friend to his kid, and also admitting when he's wrong.
He's a bit gracious.
Yeah.
And a bit merciful.
Yep.
And empathetic.
Which Boy Meets World, by the way, I listen to Pod Meets World, which
when a boy meets world.
Yeah. Which is
a boy meets Tom, let me have my moment. World.
So I'm actually listening to Pod Meets World, which is a rewatch, and I watched the episode before the week episode of the rewatch comes. So I'm rewatching Boy Meets World, and there's actually a lot of God in Boy Meets World. Like the characters pray, the characters whatever. It's really cool. And there was,
I feel like that would have been more common early 2000s, 90s. Yeah. Sorry, continue.
And there was one episode with Eric, the older brother, actually recently, where he's come to like a very important decision in his life, and he's sitting on a park bench, and he's obviously talking to God. And then it's so real because he's like, why do I ignore you, and why do I only come to you when I need something? And it's just, I just thought it was a really cool, very real picture of.
I'm sure they're probably bored. Reach out, get them on Faith 180. Let's ask them if there's hidden Christian imagery in Boy Meets World that...
You know what? I'm going to send that email right now.
Do it. Alex, before you go ahead with your TV dad, honorable mention, okay? You guys are throwing out some good ones. There's some I'm not even thinking of. I've got some... This may just turn into like a 90s, early 2000s nostalgic episode.
I'm okay with that.
I'm okay with that. I don't even know where that question came from, but honorable mention, Mr. Feeney.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Shoot,
Mr.
I didn't even
Feeney.
watch those shows.
Mr. Feeney, though, is not a father. He has no children.
That's why he's honorable mention. I couldn't remember if he had children or not, but I feel like I took a lot of lessons from Mr. Feeney.
Yeah.
And I always loved when Mr. Feeney was on the show. I don't know why. I have no idea. And I'm going to give another honorable mention before anybody says the dad from the show, Mr. Belding.
Saved by the Bell. Yep.
Mr. Belding.
Yeah. So you're not necessarily looking strictly for fathers. You're looking just for adult figures.
I'm looking for fathers. And they don't have to be positive. They don't even have to be positive. I just want to know who your favorite TV dad was or is, And as you guys are saying, like, oh man, Tim Allen's a good one.
Yep.
Tim Allen, what a show that was. Alex, what's yours? I'm curious. Do you know?
So I literally looked up a list of 25 best TV dads because I couldn't think of any in particular. I mean, I could, but it wasn't my favorite. So first off, I think you can't mention this list without Philip Banks from Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, because as kind of no fun, no messing around kind of dude he was always looking out for the kids kind of thing. He was like, "You're my daughter, like I care very much." He wasn't just looking out after his own image. He was like, "This is how people are going to perceive you." Anyways, that I
Have
feel
you
like
ever
that just
have you ever
to mention.
have you ever seen the viral clip of Will Smith talking to Uncle Phil after his father abandons him again?
Yes,
Yeah. Now
I've
that
seen it as a meme format, and it's meant to be funny, it's like probably one of the best best emotional scenes you're probably gonna get. Like,
right.
if I actually had to pick my number one just from my limited memory right now and from this list on the pioneerwoman.com that I found, I don't necessarily recommend every episode of this show, but Bob's Burgers. Bob is he's a pretty, if you look at the circle of life and how just all humans act, I think Bob is a pretty standard, he gets really frustrated at his family, like we all do. He, wants to do things his own way. He realizes, he has to put his family before him, and then he ends up not being too bad of a guy. But he has such real moments of okay, Tina, I don't understand what this is about, but I guess that's okay. Or and he's also he's just so relatable in so many ways. I think those characters, Bob and Tina, are yeah, that's kind of just what a good marriage is. It's you bicker a little bit, you still love each other underneath, you're okay with poking at each other and still having fun together, and I don't know. So that's, yeah, again, I wouldn't necessarily recommend watching every episode of that show kind of thing, where it is some more not always family friendly content.
Well, listen, Alex, I'm gonna do you a solid here, brother, because I don't think I could not recommend our listeners to not watch this one I'm going to use any more than you just did Bob's Burgers. I think the default is like Danny Tanner.
Yeah.
Truthfully, I like Uncle Joey, even those other shows we mentioned. But I ended up liking a side. I don't know why. I just never. Maybe I didn't like any of the TV dads. I'm going to claim. Are you ready, Mr. Peter Griffin, as my favorite?
Friggin'. I remember seeing cartoon dads on a flow chart, and it was good person with good wife, Bob's Burgers, or Bob from Bob's Burgers, bad person with bad wife, and it was Peter Griffin on the opposite side of the flow chart. So I'm interested to hear the explanation here.
I feel like Peter channels the dad I want to be in public in every situation, but I lock deep inside because I know it's inappropriate.
Still need more explanation there. I'm sorry.
It's the sarcasticness, and again, there was no requirement that they be good or bad. I just said, "Who is your favorite TV dad?" That was the question.
Oh, we were thinking of it too meta.
You guys went deep, and we said no, we weren't going to go deep on this one. But
jeepers!
No, I wasn't even allowed to watch Family Guy growing up, so I didn't grow up with him. But later in life, you watch that show, and there's just a lot of sarcastic scenarios that they're like, "Yep, I really wish I had that out in public, and then I could just revert back to the normal family." And that's the other thing, right? No matter what happens in the show, it always starts the same.
Yeah.
Anyway, I like Peter. There's a lot of good ones. Tim Allen's a good one. I think you're
obviously Homer.
Homer.
Is Homer a good one? I feel like that's one that wouldn't want to be like Homer with a 10-foot pole.
But the thing
is personality.
Homer learns a lot of life lessons, but for the sake of the show, forgets them for the next one. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You guys want another question?
Sure.
Favorite YTV show?
Are You Afraid of the Dark? Done.
Wait, for our American listeners, this is the Canadian equivalent of the Nickelodeon channel. I'm pretty sure they ran mostly Nickelodeon shows. So,
Are You Afraid of the Dark for me? Why?
It's funny you say that because of, unfortunately, and everybody pray, but these missing children in Nova Scotia. So if you're listening, there's some kids missing. Just pray for that situation, and you can look it up. It's been pretty big news. What were you talking about? Oh, Are You Afraid of the Dark? Because I was watching some news stories on that, the algorithm has now fed me like body cam videos of things at night. And then last night I was laying in bed going, oh no, I've gone full circle. I'm just watching Are You Afraid of the Dark? But you actually get to see the stories. I'm like, wait a minute, that's the same thing. I'm a grown man watching Are You Afraid of the Dark? Anyway, Tom.
I rewatch Are You Afraid of the Dark every year. I'm not going to lie to you. I, not too long ago, last summer, actually convinced a group of friends of mine, there we go, to start rewatching Are You Afraid of the Dark? And we actually have a Google sheet that I have named the Mid-Afternoon Society, because staying up until midnight is way too late when you're 40. And basically,
Afternoon Society.
Yeah, the Mid-Afternoon Society. And we go in, we rate the episode out of 10 and leave some comments, and it's awesome. We watch 2 episodes a week. And I'm a big horror fan. I love horror movies. I always have. And this, I really feel, is the antithesis of my love of horror was Are You Afraid of the Dark?
All right, Tom. 3 pages on that. Get back to us. Write 3 pages, argumentative. Send them through the chat, and when you're done, we'll rejoin you on Are You Afraid of the Dark? Mine is
What's that?
That was a good show. Oh my gosh.
The Punisher.
The Punisher.
Shut up.
Yeah. With
dreaming of being on that show. Like, can you imagine if you got picked to be on that show?
You could win a CD Walkman.
Well, you guys know that the what was it called? The Splat Tour or whatever?
Was it Citadel Hill?
No, they did Yarmouth. They did 2 episodes in Yarmouth. Jessica and I watched it like 2 months ago.
No.
Yes, hold on. Keep talking.
For the listener, Yarmouth is on the other side of the world from where we are. We're not located there. Don't want anybody to know where we live. So Yarmouth is a place far from us.
Haven't we revealed that in previous seasons or several times? I was going to say.
We get a lot of standalone listeners. They'll just randomly pick an episode.
So just for the record, Jordan's address is redacted.
Well, Alex would know it because, he does a thing that, he would know it.
I have said I am a delivery man before, so I actually have delivered to your house.
I'll find the episode of Yarmouth and send it to you guys.
All right.
What's your show?
My show? Well, you guys talking about, what is it? Are You Afraid of the Dark? You're putting me in a different age bracket because I had no idea what that was.
Well, see, I have a sister that's Tom's age, so I got to stay up late and watch that sometimes if my parents weren't home. But then I have a sister your age, so yours is going to be fascinating too.
Right. So, I would say I want to say a couple, because if you want just a good show that was really funny, Fairly Odd Parents was a really good show. And, there was some, not adult humor, but it was, well thought out sarcasm for what it was in a kid's show. I would say it's better than SpongeBob in the humor department. So if you want just a good basic show, one that I really liked as a kid, though, which maybe falls along Are You Afraid of the Dark? I don't really know. Mystery Hunters?
Okay.
If anyone remembers that, apparently, according to Google, it aired in 2002. And it was interesting because maybe similar to Tom's interest in, the horror genre, I really I like mysteries. Now I listen to true crime, right? But I like mysteries and, kind of the thriller aspect of stuff. We don't know what happened. And that's kind of what the show delved into. It kind of like, would give you like, maybe this house is haunted, but it was also like they had literally a character called Doubting Dave who would like offer suggestions of what probably was actually happening. Like, it's not a ghost. It's something that happens with a camera's, lens that causes these blurs to happen. Or so they would always make it like, a thriller, like, oh, what is this? But they'd always tell you it's really nothing. There's a scientific explanation or there's a natural explanation, which is, I guess, something that allowed my parents to let me watch it too, because if it was just straight, like, supernatural, heck, I wouldn't have even liked it at that point. I just like the mystery of it, not getting into anything weird about it. But yeah, Doubting Dave, I actually looked him up and he still looks the exact same.
I was looking at the Canadian Game Show wiki for Uh-Oh, and the host name is
Wink Yahoo.
What kind of name is that?
Yeah.
Wink Yahoo?
Can we say that on the podcast?
You guys know Sean Majumder was on there too, eh?
I've met him.
Yep.
Who's Sean Majumder? Maybe
He's a comedian. Yeah.
Raj Binder? You've never met Raj Binder? That's a Sean Majumder reference, and you can look it up.
Oh,
I met him. So he came. I was working at a microbrewery in Newfoundland, and he made his own craft beer, and then decided to come to the brewery to see for a tasting, like a blind taste, to see if his beer was better. He lost by a long shot, but he was nice enough once they were done filming to come outside and spend some time. And Mr. Critch was with him, but we did not get to say hi to Mr. Critch. Mark Critch. Fun times, eh, fellas?
that's a very fun time.
Oh yeah, I would definitely just know him as the guy from This Hour's 22 Minutes. All right.
Yeah.
All right.
Here's a question. Jordan's proposed 2 different questions here. I'll propose one. What is the best celebrity interaction you've ever had? I have 2.
No, that's probably as many as I've had. No, that's not true. I've met a lot of hockey players, but they would be very specific names and probably not celebrities. Go ahead, Tom.
So they were actually both on the same weekend, which is kind of funny.
You only asked that question so you can flex. Go ahead.
No,
flex.
I'll flex. My buttons are popping off my shirt.
Flex.
So I was flying out to BC for a manager's meeting at the previous company I worked for.
Flexing.
And I got to the airport super early, like 4:00 in the morning, because our flight was stupid early. And I went through, made sure my bag fit in the thing for overhead and all that fun stuff. And I turned around, and as I turn around, there's this old man. He's wearing like a trench coat. He has like a suitcase, and he's wearing a hat. And I walk by him, and I look at him, and we make eye contact, and he nods at me, and I keep walking, and then I stop, and I realize, oh, hey, that's John Dunsworth. John Dunsworth played Jim Leahy on Trailer Park Boys, as well as a bunch of other like niche Canadian roles. And when I realized it was him, I stopped, and I saw out of the corner of my eye his entire posture change. Like, it got right tense. And I thought to myself, I'm like, okay, this guy, he's probably at the airport at 3:00, 4:00 in the morning for no one to see him or recognize him. So I actually just went up to him. I shook his hand. I said, hey, have a safe flight. And then I walked off, and he said the same to me. So that was cool. Just to respect. I mean, celebrities are people too. No need to bug them unless they're being paid to meet you. You know what I mean? The other one was I met Bret Hart at a signing for one of the WWE video games, and I actually got to chat with him for like 15 minutes just about his career, how much I enjoyed watching him growing up, how my wife, who's not a professional wrestling fan, but she'll actually sit and watch a Bret Hart match. Like, it was really cool.
Oh yeah, he totally wanted to flex on us right there.
Yeah.
He's like, Mr. Leahy, we're all from Nova Scotia. Everyone's met Mr. Leahy. Next year,
It's true.
Oh, I met the guys from Great Big Sea. Yeah, everyone here. Next year, you're going to say, like, oh, I've met Frankie McDonald. Yeah, go across to Port Hawkesbury.
Yeah.
Probably been around all of Cape Breton right now.
I really thought you were going to Cindy Day, I was expecting there, Tom.
Oh, nice.
You know, Cindy, we've never met Cindy. Cindy Day.
Maybe she'll come on Faithful Annie.
You never know.
Oh, I just changed my answer because this counts. I bent the rules a little, but this counts. Oh, I just had a really good one. I've had a couple. I've had a lot, okay? It's hard to pick. Alex, go ahead.
That was so much built up for switching. Well, first off, I have also met Mr. Leahy. I think I say that because I used to work at the Halifax airport, and at like 5 a.m., a man bought a newspaper from me, and the person behind him was like, "Dude, that was Mr. Leahy," and I'm like, "Who?" Because like I knew nothing about the Trailer Park Boys. Like, he's like, "No, I'm pretty sure that was Mr. Leahy. You just sold a newspaper to Mr. Leahy." I'm like, "Cool," like, but I think, yeah, another one that I met at the airport was actually Rick Mercer. Rick Mercer was like, I don't know, I liked Rick Mercer more than This Hour's 22 Minutes growing up with his Canadian political satire show.
The Mercer Report.
Yeah. So he came through my checkout, and I just briefly was like, "Is it Rick Mercer?" He's like, "Yes, it is." And you can kind of tell he was like, "I don't want to talk about me being famous."
Right.
Thing. And I was like, "Cool. Nice to meet you." Anyways, and I, got him through. But yeah, that was pretty cool. I didn't technically meet him, but for all of the Noah Khan fans out there, and yes, his name is Khan. He has said so in his TikToks. The folk singer there. I didn't meet him, but at like a festival, he was about 15 feet away from me on a mini stage doing like a cook-off or like a cooking show thing with Old Time Hockey, who's a TikTok food creator. So that was pretty cool that I was just up close with them just kind of chilling on stage making pudgy pies is what they were called. Yeah. So those are my...
Well,
also, I have the Holy Spirit dwelling within me like the rest of us do here, so I think that's actually my number one for celebrities I know personally.
That wins. We might as well shut down the podcast. Alex wins. He gets the podcast. That's what we're giving away tonight. Oh, you get an action Bible too, Alex.
Sweet. Can I get 2 action Bibles?
Shipping not included, so you have to pay for that. And
shipping not
right
included.
now,
we
with
do
the
work
post,
for a shipping company.
Well, with the post right now on strike, it's $85 shipping. So just send that to Tom at faith180.ca.
Yep. Okay. Do you e-transfer? No.
I'm going to go. This is a celebrity, okay? My number one. I'm going to give you a couple notable mentions. Alan Doyle came through my checkout line at Sobeys. Similar situation. He did not really seem to want to engage. So I rang up his groceries and said, "Have a great evening, Mr. Doyle. I love some of your music." Honorable mention number 2, Walter Gretzky, sitting in the Halifax airport terminal. As a hockey guy growing up, I played some college hockey. Meeting Walter and then talking to him for a long time. Yeah, he had a stack of sticky notes with his name printed on them, and then he would sign the sticky and give it to you. So 250 other people also met Walter and got his autograph, but pretty cool. I also met Walter one night at a Toronto Maple Leafs hockey game, and he just walked through the doors. Nobody checked his tickets. He just had a pass to go in and out. It was pretty cool. Crowd formed. So yeah, honorable mention. But the coolest. What was the question? Ask the question again, Tomothy.
Best celebrity interaction.
I tried out to be the kid that sang the Oscar Mayer Wiener song, and I met the Wienermobile. I had to sing in front of it. It was there, the actual Wienermobile. And Tom, I just see he's typing in the chat, "Jordan, please let me sing the Oscar Mayer Wiener jingle."
Oh, I wish I were an Oscar Mayer Wiener. That is what I truly like to be. Because if I were an Oscar Mayer Wiener, everyone is in love with me. That's the one.
You guys ever eat Larson's, though? I'd take those any day over Oscar Mayer.
Format barbecue only. Grand format. Yeah. Hey, you got to get the Larson barbecue size ones. But you know what? The fact that I've remembered that I tried out for that and met the Oscar Mayer Wienermobile.
Mobile.
I said that 3 minutes ago, Tom.
I'm writing this email. I'm sorry.
You're emailing Pod Meets World, and we're here talking about the Wienermobile. And
I met the Batmobile one time. Like,
well, what kind of interaction would that be if you did?
no, I did. I legitimately did.
You're basically saying like, I met Kit from Knight Rider. Like, fucking.
I just want to say, bringing it back full circle, Kit from Knight Rider was voiced by William Daniels, who played Mr. Feeney on Boy Meets World.
Have either of you met the Wienermobile?
No, but I'm sure other people have met. What's his name? Doyle.
He was an honorable mention, Alex. Get off my tail.
I actually haven't met Frankie McDonald. Now that I say that,
My dad has, so we're good. This group's covered. We've met Frankie somehow collectively. My dad met him at the mall in New Glasgow. Yeah.
I really wish I could meet Steve Murphy from CTV News, but that's going to be too niche for some of us very far away.
I still watch news back then.
I have a Steve Murphy story.
Oh, go for it.
It's not my story to tell, and I don't know if you guys remember a couple weeks ago when I called my mom live.
Oh, I do. I listened to it the other day and laughed.
I'm doing the same. Hold on. Give me a moment. You guys talk.
Oh, man. So,
hold on. She's here. She's here. Hold on for 1 sec. Hello, Susan. How are you? Okay. Can you guys hear her okay?
Yeah.
Okay. So, I'm once again calling you to be a surprise guest on the Faith 180 podcast. And we were talking about our coolest celebrity interactions of all time. And Alex had said, oh man, I really wish I could meet Steve Murphy from CTV. And can you please quickly recap your Steve Murphy experience with us?
Was away, and they needed a representative.
Phil, by the way, just to cut in, was Mom's previous, like, he was what? Was he your boss? Yeah, he was the superintendent. Okay, here you go. She's back.
Phil was away, and he'd gotten a call. They wanted representation down at the Colony Restaurant. There was a meeting. They were calling people in from different businesses and places that had interaction with CTV. I think it was there because they were welcoming a new boat, a new ferry of some kind. I'm not sure which one it was. Anyway, there were different people there. And Steve Murphy ended up sitting directly across from me for lunch. And we had a regular lunch, like you had chowder and a sandwich and just lunch stuff. And if you know me, and you do, Tom, I love chocolate. So when I went through the buffet line, I grabbed a Nanaimo bar and took it to my seat and just left it on the side of my plate. And anyway, everybody was chatting and talking, and the president of CTV was there. It was there were a bunch of honchos there, and then a bunch of us little folks. Anyway, Steve Murphy is sitting directly across from me, and everybody was just chatting and having coffee and whatever. And at the end of the meal, and he just reaches over and takes my Nanaimo bar and eats it. I was speechless. I could not believe he ate my dessert, especially my Nanaimo bar.
There you go. That's the.
Did he realize what he just did? Anyway, yeah.
There you go, gentlemen. That is the story of when my mom met Steve Murphy. All right. I'll talk to you later, Mom. Thank you. Bye.
I bet he said, I'm Steve Murphy. This is CTV News. That is my Nanaimo bar.
As he kept eye contact with her as he ate it.
did he? No way. Did he actually keep eye contact with her? No, I was like, because I want to give him the benefit of the doubt. Maybe he was just like,
I want to give him a high five.
Like, you could think, like, she's obviously not going to eat that. It's just that it's been sitting there for 20 minutes. Like, I'm just going to, do my duty and, like, make sure the plates are clean, kind of. I want to know so bad what was going through his head.
We should reach out to Steve Murphy and see if we can have him on here to confront my mom.
Well, Tom's got another email to write, folks. I have some questions. Alex, do you have a question you want to ask us? I have some based on Susan's conversation, but we can rapid fire these. We don't have to necessarily spend forever on them, but favorite Tim Hortons baked good
Canadian maple.
of all time?
Let me ponder that.
A ponder, Tom.
My gut check is the Canadian maple strictly because of how often they are not present.
Your mom just talked about mine, and it will always be.
When did Tim Hortons do Nanaimo bars?
I'm staring at my phone because I just got an email notification from Boy Meets World in Tunnel. So this is great. Pray for it.
Read the email if you want.
Pray for it. If God wants it to happen, He might raise back.
Yeah.
Mine's in Nanaimo bar, Alex.
You emailed the people who did Boy Meets World? What?
I emailed their podcast.
Jeepers. There you go.
Yeah.
I totally must have not been listening for that.
How do you think we stay relevant, Alex? We get all these great celebrities on the podcast.
Then can we email the Trailer Park Boys too to see about their fate journeys?
You can email whoever you want. That's what the great thing about email.
Most podcasts and celebrities have a public email that you can type in and email them, and it will probably go to one of their representatives.
Oh, fellas.
When did Tim Hortons do Nanaimo bars?
Well, Google it. Alex?
Tim Hortons. How do you spell Nanaimo? Come on, AI. There we go. Tim Hortons locations.
Yeah, because
I didn't type in the bars. It was
Wow. Tim Hortons used to offer Nanaimo bars, but they are no longer a regular item on their menu. While the
Nanaimo bar donut.
What?
Nanaimo bar donut from Tim's.
I am looking at a picture of it right now. It was Nanaimo cream filled.
There's a YouTube video from KBD Productions TV of a man.
I've been misled, fellas.
Yeah, taste it. Oh, shoot.
Tom, order me a box of them. We'll see if we can get the funding.
Hold on. I'm sharing my screen.
This is an 8-year-old.
Well, share your Nanaimo stuffed donut.
In Muskoka.
Tom, I want one.
Look
you're gonna make me cry. Oh no! How long ago was that, Tom?
I don't know.
2017, according to the stamp on this video.
What?
So 8.
Where was I?
You were just talking about actual Nanaimo bars, not a Nanaimo donut.
Fellas, you got to get me back from the moon and somehow into 2017 so I can go try them donuts.
Well, if you're on the moon, you would think you could have time travel.
I don't think that's how that works, Tom.
Well, I only had one parachute and I've already used it.
He met the Wienermobile, not the DeLorean. There's a difference.
Oh, yeah, great Scott
movie of all time.
Great Scott, I'm with you there. Yep.
I think I've shared this before. I don't know if I've shared it on the podcast, but my son is named after a Back to the Future character.
Oh yeah, you've told me that before. I had to be like, which one is? And I'm like, oh right, that.
So just to quickly recap the story,
Doc Brown.
Yeah. So it was October 21st, 2015, which is the day that they travel to in Back to the Future Part 2. So we were watching Back to the Future Part 2. Jessica was pregnant at the time, and we couldn't come up with any good boy names. And I looked at her as we were watching Back to the Future Part 2 on Back to the Future Day of October 21st, 2015. And I said, what do you think of Emmett? And she goes, I really like that name. So we named our kid Emmett while watching Back to the Future before he was born.
Oh, I thought you named him Doc. I was really concerned.
Well, my buddy Sean, who's like my lifelong best friend,
out in Hazelton,
he calls Emmett Doc. How's Doc doing?
I mean, that's pretty great.
Wow, gentlemen, do I have any other questions? I don't know. Susan, what an appearance that was! Great conversation, guys.
Fantastic.
I did not expect. I had no expectations, actually. And I think that was really fun. The Ramblesodes really it's just a break and a healthy reminder to circle up with some friends, ask some silly questions. Don't be afraid to disagree. It's all nonsense anyway. So, but relax and be in community. I think we're called to be in community by God. So I encourage you to be in community. If you feel isolated and you need to talk to somebody, reach out to Faith 180. I'm going to take this chance to introduce something. We do have a family support line, and shame on me for not bringing this up sooner, but you can go to faith180.ca, or you can just email family support at faith180.ca. And we have a great couple that are volunteering to help people just take the next step, either in their faith journey, in their mental health walk. If you need support, excuse me, from a family setting standpoint, maybe how do I incorporate God into my marriage better or more? Or how do I pray with my family? Or maybe you just have something personal that you want to talk to that is family related. We have that support. And then you can also email Scott. So any of the men listening, Scott at faith180.ca. If you need to reach out and just talk to somebody, I would say, keep any details at a minimum. Just say hi to Scott and he'll connect with you. But yeah, Scott is a Christian and he is part of the family support, but he also runs men's groups in the church and has done a great job at just leading his group. It's about 20 men now. So, and we're hoping to have them at an event we're having, which we'll announce soon. I promise. I can confirm that one of our old guests I don't think I told you guys this. One of our old guests has confirmed that he'll be coming to this event.
Oh.
Which hopefully...
Can I just ask C or N?
C.
Nice.
Yeah. So I reached out. What? Katam, yes. Katam will be there.
Satam. It could be either.
No, Cal, Mr. Maskery, has confirmed that he would love to be at this event that we're going to host, and stick around for more details. I'm going to shut up in a minute, but I do want to say, if you do need support, if you need help, if you need, faith guidance, if you want to know, we're not clinicians, we don't offer professional support, but these are people that are willing to help you, take a next step or bridge a gap and become a gateway to faith and to Christ. But also, they also understand, I think it's important to say, sometimes step one isn't Jesus in somebody's mental health journey, but they can certainly help give you guidance in a Christian way, Christian perspective. Guys, final thoughts?
No, you wrapped everything up nicely. Again, it's just a good reminder that sometimes it's just fun to get on here and just shoot the breeze with you guys and just keep it a little lighthearted sometimes,
I was going to say, whether you need help from the family support that Faith 180 Ministries is starting to offer or not, you should go to faith180.ca and check out the family support tab, because Scott and Courtney have some pretty epic family photos introducing them on that page, and you're going to be a little jealous seeing how much better their family photos are than yours in the last Christmas cards you sent out.
But do you know what they don't have a picture of? Meeting the Wienermobile.
Well, let's pull all the CCTV footage and we'll run it from the last 40 years and see if I'm on it. Oh, I wish I was an Oscar Mayer wiener. That is what I truly like to be. But 'cause I'm not an Oscar Mayer wiener, I'm chatting here on Faith 180.
Can we make the Oscar Mayer Wiener song our podcast theme? Or do you not have the license?
You can email anybody, Alex.
You right? Oscar Mayer. How do you spell Meyer?
Meyer.
I'm pretty sure it's Wienermobile at OscarMayer.com.
Please tell me that's a real thing. WisconsinHistory.org. Man, this goes deep.
Ladies and gentlemen,
thank you for joining us. We'll catch you on the next one. Be a light.
Peace.
Faith 180 is a Christ-centered podcast devoted to making the infinite grace, glory, and mercy of Jesus more accessible to everyone, everywhere. Created, produced, and hosted by Thomas Hazelton and Jordan Hamilton. Co-hosted by Alex Abriel, and produced and edited by Justin Gaudett. Consumed by Fire's Goodbye Ol' Me from the album First Things First is used with permission. You can find the band on all streaming platforms, and social media is linked in the description below. Visit faith180.ca, follow Faith 180 on Facebook, and email us at bealight@faith180.ca. In the darkness of today's world, be a light.